Yeah, let's start. So welcome to this session.
Recording in progress.
So you just noticed that we are recording the session. That's also for all the people who cannot be here today. So the session today will be focused on personalization for consumers. Let me just move a little bit forward and to give you some highlights on the journey we are going through. So it's already our fifth session before this well-deserved summer break for many of you. So let's enjoy today. The golden rules, I'm not gonna focus too much on that, but be present, listen, interact, reflect. Would be good to have your camera on because it makes everything more lively for the speakers and for the listeners. And when we have questions, so that would be appreciated. Today, I'm very happy to welcome Perrine Massé. Hi, Perrine. Based in the UK.
Yeah.
But with a French name.
Very much so.
Frédéric Papon.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah. So based in Paris, so he will give us a lot of overview on Interaction Studio. So myself with my German name, but my French accent. And Gonzalo. So with no further introduction, so today just small overview of the agenda, but you know it all because it's very often very similar. So the Deloitte industry overview by you, Perrine, the Salesforce industry point of view by Frédéric, with also a short break and an asset demo. Better together session. Not sure we have much focused on that, but Gonzalo, you will tell us. And we will close everything with a quiz if we still have time. So, with no further transition, welcome, Perrine. I'm letting you introduce yourself and present the Deloitte point of view.
Right. Thank you very much, Franck. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me today. So my name is Perrine. I am indeed French, but I do live in the UK and I have been for a few years. So within Deloitte UK, I lead the marketing operations team. So we basically, help organizations transition to new business model by helping them build new capabilities on the ground. And amongst these capabilities, personalization is definitely a hot topic that I'm going to talk to you all about today. So let me share my screen and let me know if it's working.
Yes.
Well.
Very good.
Okay, so we are happy to get started. So, in a nutshell, so I don't know, for most of you, you probably have seen it, but this year we released what we call our global marketing trends. And something that came very, very extremely clear from this report was that consumers have extremely high expectations from brands. They really want, what they say, solutions that they can trust, a brand that really has purpose, that really commits to something, that also obviously align with their own values, and experiences that not only they are not the recipients anymore, but they really want to act as co-creators of someone's vision. So this past 18 months, unfortunately or fortunately, this trend has very much accelerated, and some companies are being successful in these very uncertain words. Those successful companies act really with clear intentions and clarity in very fundamental ways. Let me explain. This transparency and clarity will, very much talk about the values that they really personify, that we talk about the initiative that they sponsor that really matters to consumers, or even sometimes the way they produce their products, for instance, that the supply chain transparency is quite critical right now. Last but not least, the way they engage with consumers is really a representation or a testimonial, if you wish, of the way the brand is committed to their consumers, and it's really very much so a way to understand how consumer centricity is being applied to the business. So in our research, we surveyed about like 16,000 people to really understand what were the underlying values that people were hoping to see from organizations, during and after the pandemic. Over 56% of the people that we interviewed want to have a more human experience from the virtual environments. Indeed, what we have seen during lockdown, for instance, is that people have found escape in digital communities, powered by platforms like Twitch or even Animal Crossing. It's a thing, for instance, but they also leverage a digital platform like Facebook or Instagram to support each other, as well as the businesses that they really cared about. We also interviewed like 2,500 global consumers in April, and 25% of those people strongly agree that they would walk away from brands they believed acted within their own self-interest. So acting as a human organization is no longer a nice to have, but really an imperative to thrive, I would say. So I really like this kind of sentence that says the beauty of consumer intimacy is to really understand and cater for stated and unstated needs. So let me try to explain. As our world becomes more enabled by technology, it's very easy for us to reduce people to an email address, a phone number, a social media account, etc., or even an order shipped in a box. But really, by understanding the consumers as well as the employees, the stakeholders of the wider ecosystem, companies can really create tools, solutions end-to-end, and devices, for instance, that really not only sell something, but actually makes people's lives better and not just always on. This human approach that we see and that people want to have really requires deep effort and intent. This human approach can be translated in a nutshell in personalization of the experience. So that we are talking about an experience tailored to who I am, what I believe into, and what I care about. So it's not just about what I want to buy. So what I want to talk about today is really the different layers that I think are the layers of personalization and how this translates into the world of consumer product organization in terms of the execution and also the potential value it can bring to the business. So interestingly, I think defining personalization is always very interesting. So I think if you were to ask to 100 people what personalization means, it's very likely that you will have 100 different answers. And the most common views is usually around content or marketing campaign personalization digitally. But actually, what we've seen is personalization can take different shapes, and I'll try to cover this now. So as you can see, these different shapes like set on a kind of maturity level. I mean, we are consultants after all. We have to talk about maturity. But the first kind of layer that I see in personalization is very much what I qualify as table stakes. So it means the personalization of digital experiences, such as content, campaigns, trigger-based email, for example. You need to have this. For me, this is very much foundational. The reality is a lot of the consumer product giants, like the Unilever of the world, are very much playing in that space right now and are finding it hard sometimes to challenge their ways of working, to reach that scale, or to even use and leverage data properly. If we look at some examples that come to mind, at P&G, for instance, they have created a multi-brand loyalty program that allow them to understand, to have more data about their consumers and therefore understand them a bit better, but also to make sure that these consumers are not switching brands in a very competitive world. Another example I like is at Unilever. They have what they call local jewels brands, and I think it's in the Netherlands. They have a brand where they really created an experience that is tailored around expecting mothers. So from the first months of pregnancy, when you don't really know what's going on, the first few years of the child, they trigger personalized content, which allow them not only to be close to the consumer's interest, but also to remain, top of mind as a brand by being helpful to their consumers and sharing interesting content for new moms. So I think that is a great example, and actually the results have been immensely strong. The second layer of personalization is about differentiated products. So here I'm talking about products that are made to order or completely customizable or feel customizable to meet consumer needs. A great example I like it is a brand quite small. I mean, we're not talking about the Unilever of the world, but it's called Functional Beauty. They allow you to create completely customizable hair, skin, or body care products that match your individual needs. So obviously it's not one individual product for every single person, but it feels that way when you are going through the experience. The results are that the reviews are absolutely phenomenal, and consumers are very much enjoying the uniqueness of the experience. Still in the beauty sector, another example I like is DITP. Probably not the right pronunciation, by the way, but they have been very interesting to follow. So they have brands like The Ordinary and some other brands in their portfolio. They have been acquired by Estée Lauder Group, but the way they are operating is they completely challenge the world of beauty by engaging the consumers on product innovation directly by asking them, do you like this, this product mix, etc. They also made science accessible to all by ensuring that all requests and diagnosis requests are followed up through the community, through the website and the different channels. And the result is that the community has been extremely strong and really became some kind of unstoppable sales engine for them. So, people talking to people and making this very much like a human experience, as I mentioned previously. The last bucket is what I kind of qualify a bit more like the disruptive innovation. And I think there will probably be some more disruptive innovation in that space very, very soon. But, these are the innovation around personalization that use technologies like VR, AR to really join the digital and the physical world and generate a unique and personalized experience. So, for example, you can have a look online, but the skin diagnostic that Olay has created on the site really scans your face and provides you a very bespoke beauty routine that will allow you to actually look younger. You might question the whole thing, but that is very much like a personalized experience that they are trying to create for consumers, but it's also extremely enjoyable as quite playful as an experience as well. And the results has been really good, digitally speaking, in terms of brand awareness. There's also, you have seen it's probably everywhere now, but there's a lot of makeup digital trials functionalities that allow you to test a foundation, an eyelash, or whatever, a lipstick, etc., depending on your skin tone, etc. So it's extremely personified to you and what you look like. So even big brands like Zara, for example, are already using that technology and are actually bringing this innovation as quite mainstream. So this is kind of, for me, the different layers of personalization. So you can see that it's definitely beyond just putting a personalized banner up on the site. Obviously, as you mature on the personalization world, things can get more complicated and more difficult to scale. So now what I want to do is talk very briefly about the challenges that we see organizations are facing when they're trying to implement personalization. So, the consumer product industry has been extremely challenged by digital, not just personalization. They have seen the explosion of new entrants like the ones I just talked about, and the shift towards direct consumer, which they were a bit unprepared for, and they have tried and they are still trying, but the learning curve has been extremely steep for them. So the key challenges that I see, or that we see as a team, is first of all, they don't necessarily have the capabilities and the right ways of working, and I think it's extremely true for things like data, technology or consumer centricity. It's very much out of their normal ways of working. So they have to completely reinvent the way the organization is sometimes structured to actually make a great impact. The second one is around the lack of consumer centricity and actually sometimes the lack of control over the experience. So the way CPG organizations are working is experiences tend to be quite very often outsourced to agencies, even consulting firms, and the data is that therefore not always in their control, and the experience is not in their control. So, that over-reliance, is creating some challenges for them to really personalize the experience online or across different channels or products, etc. Last but not least is, trying not to fall in that technology trap, as I call it, because you need to the organization needs to understand what is actually necessary and right for their organizations right now. You don't always have to go for the sexy technologies to actually make an impact to your consumers. So I think navigating all of these things has been quite a challenge for consumer product organizations. So what results, if an organization, a CP organization wants to go ahead, what kind of value can they see from personalization? So, well, what we have seen, and obviously that will vary from brands to brands, but personalization can lift revenue by 5 to 15%. It can really very much reduce acquisition costs by as much as 50%. And really increase the efficiency of the marketing spend, and you can see the percentages here are quite high. As I said, these results tend to vary depending on the brands. A client of mine in a global consumer product organization, extremely regulated, they have seen performance around revenue and conversion that doubled by using very basic personalization mechanisms. So it's not really just a sexy thing to do, it's actually the right thing to do for your business. And also, so another point I want to call out is personalization. Unlocking that value can take a bit of time, so it's not something that you see straight away. You can see some low-hanging fruits around, like, for example, personalizing the experience on the e-commerce website feels normal and will have straight away an impact. But when we're talking about, product personalization, etc., that might take a bit more time to ramp up. So my recommendation would be to start small and start building the foundations as you scale the different experiments that you run. So on this little matrix, you can see that the red boxes are where we see impact is the greatest. So things like broadcast media. So when Unilever, for example, started to implement like their personalization strategy around first-party data, etc., after a few years, they saved £100 million on media activation. So that's not a small saving, but just actually following the basic principles of personalization. Another impact is on, for example, CRM and email. It is very clear that when you have the right automated journeys that are really centered around, consumer needs across the long-term journey, the impact and the uplift in sales as well as in retention is extremely high. So, is driving the way forward simple as 1, 2, 3? I think, hopefully, from what I've just said, I think the way forward, you can see that it can be a bit bumpy, but I think what is the most important is to start on that journey. Because the earlier you start, the greater learning you will have and the greater differentiation you will achieve, in the marketplace. So what are the key steps that I tend to work with with my clients? So the first one is around setting the course of action and really defining what personalization means to you. So, it will probably be different from one organization to another, depending on the category you sit in, the digital maturity of that category, etc. So I think starting from understanding what has been done across different brands, across different markets, in your portfolio is extremely important. But also mapping the challenges that you experienced, the success you had, to map this against the destination that you set for yourself. So that way you can easily or more clearly prioritize your actions and the capabilities that you need. The second point is really about picking your battles. I'm always very careful that it's really tough to actually do it all at the same time. So you don't have to start with a fully customized product or services, etc. So I think getting the foundations right, for example, in media, in commerce, in content personalization, will really allow you or your clients to see value quickly and get funding for greater personalization pilots, such as product personalization, for instance. Lastly, I think organizations have to be ready to test and fail sometimes. Ultimately, consumers will tell you what they respond well to directly. So, I think finding the right level of personalizations that adds value without being intrusive for the consumers is what I think is a fine art that requires constant testing and learning. So I think managing these expectations internally, at your clients, usually goes a long way in getting internal buying and sponsorship. So that's it for me. I don't know if you have any questions, but thank you very much for listening.
Thanks a lot, Perrine. Any questions? Raise up your voice. Don't be shy. I have a question, maybe a specific question, Perrine. We have been discussing with some clients recently, and they are focusing now on, I don't know whether this makes sense, but tell me if you are seeing such things. To provide more, of course, there has been a track record of providing more personalization in the marketing field. But what they are focusing more on, where they make the difference, at least where some gaps had been appearing during the COVID crisis, is in the information they were able to deliver to their customers from the supply chain, saying, when your delivery is a bit delayed, we try to give you the most accurate information, because they had really big gaps there. And this is where they really lost a lot of loyalty, where their competitors, which were much more accurate, not necessarily more quick or fast, but providing more information, was a really a differentiator. Are you seeing some focus there more on the supply chain part recently, or is this something which is more anecdotal?
No, I think that is a great point, and absolutely, we are seeing a massive demand in supply chain kind of revamping, because actually, especially in the CP space, e-commerce, for example, or direct to consumer has been not really like driving extremely high volume for them. So like supply chain has been important, but more as a second thought. So it's not really professionalized. It's like leveraging partners or like bigger like things. So what we have seen is a peak of demand of like clients coming to us to say, okay, what do I need to do to get this right? Because that transparency around where's my order, etc., is table stakes. And if you do not capture that demand, you will lose the consumer forever. So actually, an example that we had, we worked with a consumer product organization which has a global presence. And in the UK, as soon as the pandemic hit, they could see an uplift of demand. And they were like, oh my God, we can't cope with that demand. So straight away, we went in, we helped them figure out what were the key challenges in terms of customer care, supply chain, stock management, etc. And I think over 3 months, we were able to make massive changes around stock availability, customer care, responsiveness, etc. So what we saw is, even though all markets within that organization saw an uplift of traffic, only the UK that actually invested in supply chain were able to keep these consumers in. And actually, they are now, even though COVID is almost over, hopefully, they have kept this audience that turned to digital just because of COVID now as active consumers on the website. So that is quite interesting. And other markets of the group, like France or Spain in this case, they did not invest in supply chain. And they saw the traffic, but then they left and they never came back. So yeah, definitely a massive domain there.
Any other question?
Yeah, one question here. Thanks, Perrine. From the organizational standpoint, so one of the ways to increase the global personalization is to organize your company with that perspective in mind. Do you see many companies that have like cross-functional teams around personalizations? Because in the way we engage with prospects and clients, most of the time it's siloed, and we don't see these cross-functional personalization team that is able to connect the dots.
Well, thank you for that question. I think it's an interesting one. I have to say that I haven't seen, like product team extremely focused on personalization at my clients, but they're very much like large CP organizations that are still a bit behind when it comes to digital activation, specifically around direct consumer mechanisms. That being said, what I know has been happening in brands like IKEA or Lego is actually like creating these like product-centered team with like a very clear objective and results expected, and therefore, something I can take away. But I'm pretty sure personalization would be potentially applied as one kind of OKR team focused, where they are really focusing on driving this, from the moment they wake up to the moment they log off. But I can try to follow up with that team to find out more.
Okay, thanks.
Any other question? No? So thanks a lot, Perrine. So I don't have a question, but I have a story to tell you about personalization. So I'm not making any advertisement, but it's a real experience. My wife has a kind of a loyalty to some products of Biotherm. The Biotherm Labs and the Biotherm brand. So 2 days ago, she went on Google to search for her preferred daycare cream, or I don't know what it is exactly. And Biotherm pushed an app, which is to say, let's download this app, do a diagnosis of your face and of your look. And so she downloaded that, and then she took some photos, 3D view over, below, blah blah blah. Then there is an AI. I don't know whether it's really AI behind it, but an AI app running it and making a kind of diagnosis. So your age, probably you're looking like the age of her real age minus 2 years. So happy customer or happy prospect. You wanted this cream, but look, you could buy this and this and this and this, which would really improve this and this and this. And finally, anecdotally, we expensed probably 3 or 4 times more than what we were looking for. But that's an illustration of what you were just pointing at, Perrine, which is the apps and the potentiality of upselling with the technology and the high impact of personalized information there. So I had this aha moment, which was more technological than focused on the product, but I thought that was a great illustration of what you just explained to us.
Yeah, no, totally. It's interesting to see that how the beauty market has really picked up. I think on personalization and personal diagnosis. So it's quite interesting, and I think it will evolve very, very quickly now.
But you can see how critical all these data and the AI you were pointing out, that it's a strategic asset finally, which most of the time or can be out out of the ownership of the company, and can be owned by technology.
Yeah, but you could see also how quickly it could go wrong. Like, can you imagine if your wife, did the quiz and actually she looked like 10 years older, but she's been actually loyal to the brand? That would be extremely damaging.
Yes. No, maybe not, because you can improve it, and it's also about trust,
Yes. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Perrine. So thanks a lot for your time, for all the insights. Maybe you can send the presentation, but also I don't know if it can be shared, but the report you were mentioning on marketing, the Deloitte marketing report, so the link you were referring to.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for this insight, your time.
You're welcome. Pleasure. Thank you so much. See you soon. Bye.
See you, but you can stay with us if you want.
Yeah, sorry, I have another call, but next time. Sorry.
Thank you. Good to have you. Thanks.
Okay, bye.
So with no transition, I'm handing over the stage to Frédéric, and Frédéric will give you the more technological view of this and the Salesforce point of view on this personalization. Frédéric?
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen.
And I'm letting you also introduce yourself.
Yes, of course.
I didn't introduce you at the beginning.
No problem.
So, yeah, over to you.
Okay, let me share my screen here. Okay, you should see my screen. Cool. So hello everybody. So my name is Frédéric Papon. I'm a marketing cloud SC at Salesforce. So I've been working at Salesforce in the marketing cloud field for more than 5 years now. So if you are familiar with our technology in the marketing cloud suite, it evolved a lot in the last years. It started with basically email marketing, and we really grew a lot, acquiring new solutions. And now we've got a full suite of solutions dedicated to digital marketing. So the topic today was about like real-time personalization, and I'm going to focus on one of our first solution that is really tailored to answer needs around personalization. And I'm going to give you a bit of context before. So I don't know like the level of knowledge of everybody on the Salesforce, platform and marketing suite. So feel free to jump in and ask more details or ask me to accelerate if needed. So I'm gonna take as well some messages pushed by Perrine around the need for engagement with customers, where every moment counts, and where the digital experience is key, putting the customer in the center. And so every consumer expects this to be treated as a unique individual, and they've got great experiences with some of the famous brands like Amazon and so on, and they expect at the end those kind of experiences to be a standard. So from a digital standpoint, there is a challenge. So we've seen like all the maturity from Perrine. Here, if we focus more on the digital part, still with like companies and your clients may be struggling sometimes because you need to connect the dots between different departments. The customer will engage throughout his journey with many people. Like he could start his journey on the website, so the e-commerce. At some point, he will get emails and communication from the marketing team. Maybe we have an issue with the delivery, or he will have to create a claim to change his product, and so on and so on. And depending on the business, you may as well engage with the sales. So each time you engage with one of these departments, they increase the knowledge they've got on you based on what's your interest. For example, when you click and you engage with contents from the marketing team, when you go on the website and you spend 1 minute on a specific web page, meaning like you're really interesting, it's really interested. So it means each one of them is able to collect information that are valuable for the others. Typically, if you engage with the customer service, of course, and if you are unhappy at some point, maybe the marketing team needs to be aware and stop, advertising to you. So that's the ideal world, and this is where we say like the experience is like flawless, because each time we interact with a customer and we better understand his interests, we're able to share this information across the department to have a really create intimacy with the customers, and this is where our personalization can really help. So at Salesforce, on the marketing cloud part, we've got as well a maturity model around digital interactions, and depending on the maturity of the people you're talking with, they may be at, I would say, a basic level where they do basic campaigns, they do a specific audience, and they create one content for that audience, and they push the specific offer to the people that like hiking, for example. Okay. Then you start to have connected campaigns where you're able to trigger specific communications and engage in the communication that are not only promotional and offers, but as also related to the experience itself, like having a right survey just after an experience offline, for example, collecting the information, and if the person is happy, engaging with the person to propose, like, for example, to be a membership of the loyalty program. And then at the end, you've got the real-time moments where this time it could happen anytime, and the company should be able to have this, very personalized experience, even at any moment if the customer decides to download your app and start browsing your applications. You need to be able to recognize that the right person and straight away make the person feels is already known and is engaging with you as a loyal client. And one of the axes here is the data architecture, because as we mentioned, each time you engage, data are collected for improving the knowledge of the customer, but that needs to be shared easily to have those flawless experiences. So as you know, that's really the value proposition of the Salesforce platform. So engage with the customer in the different touch points and being able to leverage data to make this experience flawless. Specifically on the marketing cloud side, now we've got 3 pillars. The first part about knowing the customer. The second part that will be our interest today, it's about humanize every moment. How I am able to leverage my customer knowledge, use AI, and push at the right moment in real time if needed the right content. And the last pillar is optimization.
Yeah, and here you can see that it really resonates with what has been introduced also by Perrine. It's really interesting to see that the Salesforce speech is unfolding very well with your standard marketing point of view without even synchronizing. So that's good.
Yeah, and so here we focus on a mean to improve personalization experience using technology. As Perrine said, so you can work on the organizational level. So there are many ways to improve it, but the way Salesforce could help is really around technology. And so this is today Salesforce Marketing Cloud. So it's built around those three pillars. So you've got the knowledge of the customer on the left, where you will be able to collect information from all the sources. So as you know, the more the client, your prospect, are using the Salesforce clouds, then what we do is we connect them to be able to better deliver this experience. And so you've got all that part around collecting data source, ingesting those data, whether it's like massive ingestion or streaming ingestion via APIs. And then what we want to do is merge all those data around a standard data model, which is called the Cloud Information Model. It's a model that is followed as well by Amazon and Google to describe what should be an individual. Okay, so this is a standard data model, and the beauty of it is you can easily, move to that step if you are using the Salesforce technology at the entrance. If not, no problem. You can connect, of course, data sources and so on. But I'm not going to deep dive this part, which is really the value proposition of the CDP today. So you maybe heard of the Salesforce CDP. This is where it plays around the data ingestion and unification. And then once you've got this single source of truth around your customer, you will be able to activate that and engage. And we have two types here of engagements: trigger moments and real-time moments. And to give you as well more focus on what's related to our solution, this is more around journey builder here. So the messaging part, if you want, where you're able to orchestrate campaigns, but as well different journeys, welcome series, and so on. So all the trigger moments. And the real-time moments, that's more one of our new technology, which is called Interaction Studio. Where really the idea here is to be able to react in less than 30 milliseconds with the right content and power that on different channels. And the last part here is the analytics part, which is the last pillar of our solution. So today we're going to focus more on this personalization and real-time moments. And so when we talk about this, two main, there are many important things, but two things to remember is like the real-time content. This is key, and the fact that we are going to use Einstein that you see here to deliver next best offer, next best product in real time. So maybe you heard about Interaction Studio before. You may know that we had Interaction Studio like 2 years ago now, and we did a partnership with another technology. And it was end of last year, we bought a new technology, which is called Evergage. So that's the legacy name of Interaction Studio that has been then integrated into the Marketing Cloud suite. Okay. So I don't know if you...
May I just ask in the room who has experience with Interaction Studio? Someone? No?
Okay. So brand new. Okay. So for you, it's the same then, but just to let you know that we changed the engine at some point, but the value proposition was very close. So the challenge here around personalization and real-time personalization, and one, you need to be able to listen in real time to what's going on. Website, of course, all the digital touch points, the mobile, so what's going on in the app. But that could be as well when the customer reach the customer, for a claim, reach the customer service. Okay, you need to be there as well, listen and push the right content. Mail, of course, and campaign, and we could integrate as well with offline channel. So in the middle, then you understand, once you're able to listen to those touch points, you understand who is there, and you use Einstein and the decisioning enzyme to power personalization. And again, you need to be able to push that on the right channel. It's about listening, understanding, and reacting with AI in real time to power the personalization. So how does it work? First, you got a first step where once the customer engage with you, an email, website, or mobile app, you need to identify it. Okay, so I will showcase after in a small demo how it could be done. So you create a profile, you merge the profile, and you are able to identify. So we work with cookie as well. So meaning we could match an unknown person with an identified profile if before we were able to match those two profiles. Then we understand the person. So we collect information and we add attributes. We understand affinities. We understand as well the context in which the client is operating. Is it a business around outdoors equipment, like the one I will showcase? Is it something about consumer goods? And this engine as well operates in the industry like FinServe and so on. So you need information as well from the context of the business. for example, a product of catalog and so on. Then you decide. So how you decide, you will see that A/B test is implementing inside the solution. You can define rules, and you use as well AIs. You act, so you personalize the experience. Depending on the touch points, it will be or Interaction Studio that is directly piloting the experience, or it will be able to act and, for example, trigger a specific communication, a journey. And lastly, you analyze. The important bit is the 30 milliseconds here, because we want the personalization to be, instantaneous. It doesn't have to wait, when the person lands on your website to understand that Frederick, is a fan of hiking, and I will put him like content around the next trek in Nepal, for example. So that's Interaction Studio. Capture individual insights, optimize thanks to the AI. You're able to connect both online and offlines. And of course, as a marketing tool, you need to optimize and be sure you don't push content and just measure that on the click, but as well on the conversion, for example. So the benefits you expect from that, because it's personalization, it could be really like a wide range. This solution is able to power, next best offer, next best content, next best promotions. So you can use it and leverage it in different use cases. And these are the kind of KPIs you can uplift with the solution. Last slide before showcasing a bit the solution. Sometimes you hear about like, okay, it's collecting information in real time and so on. It looks like a CDP. So from our point of view, this is how we differentiate the two. On the left here, you capture data. So of course, the CDP and the Salesforce CDP is also able to capture behaviors on the digital touchpoints, like mobile app, websites. But the idea here is really about it's capturing any kind of data with the CDP, merging them with a data unification that is very advanced around the persistent ID, harmonize the data. So for example, if you know that the postal address is better when you use that source A of data and not that source B, then you create your golden record in a way saying that the postal address should come from source A. Okay, and this is as well CDP where you will create your segments and understand your credential database. Okay, so you can create segments based on multiple criteria, and so that's the CDP part. And here it's about more personalization and real time. So when we talk about personalization of experience, dynamic optimization of creatives, trigger in real time messages, or next best offer, next best actions. Any question?
Okay, I have one question. Does it provide any information back to Salesforce, for example, Interaction Studio, or is it only one way? So saving, for example, the preferences of customer?
Yeah, so you mean Interaction Studio with other clouds from Salesforce?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, you've got Interaction Studio basically connected today with the CDP. So if a client has gone both, then CDP gets insights from Interaction Studio. Okay, so that's at the end, IS Interaction Studio could be a source of data for the CDP, which work on much more data. But you've got as well something one-to-one connection. For example, in IS, if you use a Sales or Service Cloud, you're able to connect Interaction Studio with Sales or Service and get information from the affinity profile of IS into Sales and Service Cloud. Okay. And I will showcase after in the demo, because the purpose of Interaction Studio is really to be the real-time omni-channel engine. And when I say omni-channel, I include as well Service and Sales Cloud. You will see that, let's say somebody calls for a reclamation, the customer agent. If the customer agent is using Service Cloud, he will be able to interrogate in real-time Interaction Studio to know what are the next best offer or next best content I can push or talk to with that person. And this is like a connection, a model in Service Cloud that allows that, and that's out of the box. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's see a quick demo. So this is let's have a short story around Rachel. So maybe you know our fake brand, which is Northern Trail Outfitters. So this is a fake brand of outdoors equipments, and let's follow Rachel. Let's say it's Rachel, who is going to run a marathon, and she's looking for gears and footwear for running. So this is an empty website. She lands in the website, and let's say she's completely unknown. So the website is like very basic at that stage. And Rachel is gonna search for the different category and search for shoes. Okay, she's gonna go on the website, search for the running category, and then check this Rovertero shoes. Okay. So this is standard in a way, okay? But we are able here to, start the personalization with a typical, similar items recommendations. So now people are really used to it because, it's like the Amazon type of recommendations. And this is powered here by Interaction Studio, okay? So it was one of the possibility for personalization. Let's have a look on the back office, what's going on here. So this is Interaction Studio. And as I was saying, this is really the omni-channel personalization engine from the Marketing Call Suite with the idea to, in real time, deliver the personalization.
Frederic, sorry, we don't see the demo. We see the slide, actually, the demo slide.
Okay. Okay. Let me go back then. New share. Okay. It's better, I guess. Yes?
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Okay, it's better. Okay, let's go back. So as I was saying, this is Northern Trail Outfitters. And so this is the outdoors equipment brand. And this is the story of Rachel. So what she's going to do, Rachel, is going to browse the footwear category. Okay. And she's going to search for the running shoes. Okay, click on the Rovertero here. And as I was saying, you see like the similar items recommendations. Okay, and that's one of the recommendations powered by Interaction Studio. One thing you didn't notice, but the homepage was very standard homepage pushing out loyalty contents. Okay, so this is like 3 clicks from Rachel here, but still we can start collecting information from her. And what you see here is Interaction Studio. And as I was saying, real time is important. So we collect here events in real time. Okay, and you see, for example, a connection here from Rachel, and you see the user ID. It's a cookie today, so it's not like somebody who is identified because Rachel is still unknown. This is the profile that is being built by Interaction Studio in real time. So we can collect information about the geographical, data, like she's from San Francisco. At the moment, no purchases, no average order, but still we can start building an affinity profile thanks to the different categories of products that Rachel clicked on. Okay, you see the Rovertero here, and you can check here the different events that has been done by Rachel. So the homepage, the category, and she viewed a specific items. Okay. So this is done in real time by Interaction Studio. And for that, Interaction Studio is using, of course, a catalog of products. And Interaction Studio is able to understand the context. Here it's very, around products and retail. And we leverage here a catalog of products. As you can see, each product has got different attributes, subclasses, and so on, IDs, URL. So you're really able to load a product catalog. But a catalog could be as well, a list of shops. Okay, it could be it's not only a list of products. Okay, you can customize it to be another type of catalog.
Frederic, quick question.
can you track back a customer which is not identified? For example, the customer you showed, if she's not identified but she's coming back,
Yes.
would you add data on the same customer without knowing her?
Yes, so
Or-
what we need just have to, you need first to have a match at some point to reconcile the IDs. Here in our first interaction, Rachel, this is the first time she lands on the website. And we don't have yet a way to match Rachel with our previous, for example, purchases done offline.
Okay.
So we will find a way to get PII, so person identified data, in order to match the behavior from Rachel here with a known customer, which is Rachel with his offline purchases. And once you've done that, it means you're able to link this specific cookie with Rachel. If Rachel leaves the website and comes back 1 month later, where you know it's Rachel, and you're able to personalize straight away the experience. So you've got those products of catalogs, but as I was saying, there are many different kind of catalogs possible. As you can see, you've got promotions, actions, survey. So you can really as well create your list of offers, list of promotions, or list of actions. Each of them is called an experience in the Interaction Studio, and then you will be able to define which experience will be delivered to Rachel on the different with the different interaction she has with the brand. So that's powered by AI. So you've seen Einstein, which is the AI layer of the Salesforce platform here that allows these similar items recommendations. But when you talk about next-best action, for example, it's also Einstein that is able to power that. So in my example, it's really around retailing with products, but it could be a list of offers of promotion, and Einstein the same way will be able to pick up which is the right one depending on the winning criteria. And in Interaction Studio, you will be able to define winning criteria, like for example, a typical will be a conversion. But for you, maybe for your clients, maybe the winning criteria will be somebody that is silver in the loyalty program. Then Einstein will work on all the data and trying to crunch and find out what are the best promotion you can push so that in the medium term, the person will be silver, for example. Okay, so let's go back to the website. And once Rachel lands back on the website, let's say she leaves the navigation for a few days, she goes back. Still, we don't know it's Rachel yet. We don't know it's Rachel. It's a cookie, but still we can start, personalizing the experience here with, for example, any specific, shoes or even joining the community. Okay, and again, these banners on the website, they are powered by Interaction Studio. What's going on is most of the time, the person will not convert at the first try. And so if she tries to close the window, we can detect, thanks to Interaction Studio, that she's leaving the website and, pop up this specific content and ask Rachel to join the community. And this trick will allow us to make Rachel create, for example, a profile. Okay, and this is where here we will be able to reconcile what's going on the web, on the digital part, with the offline purchases of Rachel before. So let's say she lands on the community. So we are on a different website here, but we're able to connect the dots because we know now it's Rachel that comes from the eShop. Now she's on the community and she logs in. So we know it's Rachel. She's going to check the running shoes. Okay, these shoes looks great. This is the one I was searching for. Okay, I think it's a great pick. Now, if we go back in the back office, because Rachel logged in, we did the merge with the offline profile, and now we are able to have a better, profile enriched with what just happened from Rachel, so the last behaviors. And as you can see, the affinity profile was based on what's been clicked and viewed by Rachel, but the time spent on the different contents and plus the purchases. Okay, and here we find all the attributes that we got from the Rachel profile that was already existing with her offline purchases, like for example loyalty ID and so on. Okay, and again we're able to have the event stream, what has been done and so on. So Rachel is still here with her shoes. Looks great. She goes on the chat, and let's say she wants to start chatting to find out if this pair of shoes is available in the store. Okay, so this is a simulation of the chatbot. I want to find them in San Francisco. Do you have them? These are the shoes I want to go. Okay, so as you know, with the Salesforce technology, so this is not Interaction Studio here. This is more the chatbot of Salesforce. You're able to engage with the bot to assist Rachel. Okay. I jump in this time to the Service Cloud part. Let's say Rachel is not able to engage with the bot, or she's missing a point, a question. So we are able to redirect the chatbot to Service Cloud so that the physical agent is able to take on with Rachel and answer her needs. So I'm in Service Cloud. So if you don't know Service Cloud, so this is where the customer service will get the incoming calls, incoming requests, whether it's email, phone calls, whatever, and we'll be able to treat them. And they've got the 360 view of Rachel. And with Interaction Studio, you've got a native here model called Interaction Studio that will allow, when the agent will click on it, it will ask Interaction Studio in real time, what is the relevant products, what are the relevant contents, or the next best action that it can push to Rachel. And this is real time. So it means if Rachel goes on the website, do some stuff, and then decide to ring the customer service, we will be able to, the customer service in real time will access the last browsing information from Rachel. And Einstein will be able to power the next best action based on that. Okay, and so this is a real differentiator because if personalization on the web, there are different tools. If you are from the digital workspace, you find different tools that are good at it. Okay, but they are specialized in digital and in web. With Interaction Studio, the idea is to go beyond and really power the omni-channel approach, not only web, but as well customer service and as well email, as we will see. Okay, make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay, and
any question at this point? Any other question in the attendance?
So this answer, you remember the idea where we're saying like, okay, marketing team, e-commerce team, customer service, they need to talk to each other to leverage the data they collect so that they can have a better engagement. Right. And this is what here Interaction Studio deliver. Okay, let's move on and let's say that Rachel now is on the shop. Nice shop. So she goes at the entrance. So Interaction Studio is able to as well integrate with a system that push informations in real time. Like for example, if she downloaded the app and she's opt-in on geolocalization, we're able to localize Rachel. And when she goes on the footwear, we are able to trigger in real time a push notification. Okay, and that's a combination of Interaction Studio and Journey Builder. You will see. So she goes on the app. She's got a specific offer, and again, this offer here is powered by Interaction Studio. Yes. Just a question.
In the way you are presenting that, what is this? Is it just a deck? Or
so I'm using here what we call the Marvel app.
Okay.
And the way I'm doing it is because this is this type of assets we can hand it over to you, so that the Deloitte team, for example, could as well pitch and this kind of product.
Okay.
So it's a demo that is built with click by click aspect, so that it can be delivered easily by our partners.
Okay.
Okay. So if you want, I can at the end we can give you the link to this specific demonstration, and you can run it as I'm running it today.
That's great. Yeah.
Okay. So here I've got a pop-up in my app. Again, Interaction Studio, we've got the SDK, so we are able to deploy and collect what's going on the app, and as well power this type of communication. And an email. So it's a bit a rush of communications, but it's to illustrate the omnichannel approach here. Okay. An email that is a trigger again in real time, thanks to Interaction Studio. At the checkout, Rachel at the end decide to buy the shoes. This is Journey Builder, and we've got a native integration with it. So Interaction Studio is able to natively trigger those kind of journey. So anything that is collected by Interaction Studio as an action, you can start and activate a journey from Marketing Cloud. Okay, so here in the entrance, this is the IS trigger. When Rachel goes on the shop, then we're able to trigger this kind of a journey. Okay, and this is an example, but you may think as well of somebody on the website that it's spending 1 minute on a specific category that you want really to push. You can start with in real time, start a journey and engage with the customer with a Journey Builder.
One question, Frederic.
Yep.
In this kind of trigger events, where is this set up? Is it on the Journey Builder side, or it's in the interaction side?
So in fact, in Interaction Studio, you can define a catalog of actions.
Mm-hmm.
And what you do is you connect Marketing Cloud to Interaction Studio, so that as actions, you've got natively the activation of journeys.
Okay, so I really define the actions on the interaction, or those are already defined, and I use them on the Journey Builder.
Exactly, exactly. So you create an event entry here, mm-hmm. and you are able in the Interaction Studio, to activate those events.
Okay, good, thanks.
And again, when you talk about omnichannel, so this is the email here with the recommendation. And you are able to build emails with blocks in your emails that are powered by Interaction Studio. And so at the end, the content will be really coherent. There will be a lot of coherence between what you push on the website when you push on the emails, or what the customer service agent will talk to with the customer, because this is the same engine that is powering the personalization. And for this type of personalization, to let you know, it's generated at the moment of opening of the email. So it means if I send the email now, Rachel goes on the web tomorrow, and then she decides to open the email 2 days after, the recommendation will take into account what is happening tomorrow. Okay. So again, the profile from Rachel will be enriched with all the data collected by Interaction Studio. And when she goes back on the website, because she did a purchase, now we are gonna push her new contents, like you can run for the oceans and help NTO donate to a specific non-profit organization, or so on. Okay, so at each step of the journey, you can associate relevant content. What's important as well in Interaction Studio is this aspect of A/B tests. Because it's marketing, you want your personalization to be relevant and to perform. And for that, each experience in Interaction Studio can be A/B tested. So when I say each experience, it's like the recommendation, similar item I've done, but it could be the banners. You can A/B test different banners and see. So depending on what's your what's your metric to measure the performance. If it's related to conversions, you can work on number of orders, revenue, conversion rates. So this is typically in the case of the retail here, but you can work on simple engagements like click-through, and you can as well, as I was saying, use winning criteria that are more advanced. Like the winning criteria is my customer is part of this segment, high-value customer, for example. Okay. So A/B test is all around here, and it allows you to A/B test each experiences. Okay. That's it. As you can see, this is so like a package demo where you can easily move through it. So we can hand over that to you if you want to demonstrate that to potential customers.
Yeah. So I will be happy to share this with everyone there.
To give you a bit more insight on this this model, it's so one of the questions you may ask is like, why? Okay, which teams I want to promote that, and which teams do I need to talk to? What we tend to see is that most of the time it starts with the digital team, so e-commerce or digital websites, because most of the time these are the people that are using tools like A/B testing or to do like personalization, but only on the websites. And then because it's omni-channel, you need to have as well, you need to connect the digital team with, for example, the marketing team, so that when the marketing team send the campaign, it's using what has been done on the websites or on the app to power the recommendations or the offers. So it's not always easy, because if you don't have a team or a person that is managing the different personalization with without silos, you may sometimes have to go to pitch that to different teams. So you need to find out the relevant teams or contacts that could benefit from this coherency of the personalization. I don't know if you understand what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's any questions on the subject? What is your experience? Do we have people in the room more engaging with marketing teams or more with the digital or with IT basically, or the digital team as a starter in projects? Maybe you, Gonzalo. No, Edgar?
Not really. My background is in marketing. I really started with Marketing Cloud when it was Exact Target, so more than 7 years ago. But I've kind of stuck. I mean, I went with the Exact Target, the Marketing Cloud, but never made the jump to the the next tools. So just barely to the Social Studio, but never to the Interactions Studio. And right now, where I'm at, I'm not actually managing anything related to marketing. Okay. So I'm stuck there.
Okay. So yeah, to conclude, it's one of the technology that could allow you to connect the dot between the different departments and make the experience coherent across the journey. Yeah, it's what we see is most of the time, we work on personalization, but with silos. So the marketing team has got his own way of personalizing, a bit different than the e-commerce and so on. And here the idea is to make that work together so that the engine is the same.
One question here, Frederick.
Yeah.
Because I was once time involved in a project, and with all these kind of tools, marketing and in the social, and you actually generate a lot of data regarding the people. And it was a question where to store actually that data. I mean, and everybody was saying about, okay, probably it should belong to a data lake. And I don't know which is the right approach or what Salesforce proposes in that sense, because you actually start to manage a lot of data when you join the CRM portion plus all the marketing portion. And if you want to have a whole view, a joint view of everything, and actually activate on everything, then there's your MuleSoft in there. Yeah. So there's lots of pieces there. Yeah. And what's the actual or the proposed architecture when you have that many pieces around? Yeah, so the idea is to start, of course, with the business use case first. But let's say you want a broader approach, because sometimes with the use cases, you can connect clouds together and, it gives value quickly. But if you want the global approach, today it's around the CDP. So as you can see here, the idea is today, when you want to use the CDP, you've got a native connection to self-service, to Commerce Cloud, to Marketing Cloud.
We are seeing the adventure awaits here if you're sharing the site.
Yes. Yeah. Better?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was saying that at the CDP, you've got native connection to all the clouds here. And today the CDP is more marketing oriented at the end. So in the entrance, you can connect many data sources, do the notification and so on. But today the activation is mainly for marketing purposes, because your audiences in the CDP could be activated to IS, Interaction Studio for personalization, but as well to, of course, Marketing Cloud and Journey Builder. But tomorrow, so let's see that at Dreamforce, the activation will be much larger and will be much more IT oriented. So it means you will be able to unify, because today it's a good question. Like today, if you want to unify the data from all the Salesforce, stacks and solutions, it's not like straightforward. And today, I will say the stack and the solution that has got the better positioning is CDP, because when you connect Service Cloud, it's native, so we are able to get the data. We are able to put the data at the right place straight away in the data model, and merge the data with the one of Marketing Cloud straight away as well. So you've got as well loyalty management, which is natively connected, so more and more sources. And just to give you an insight, in October, there will be an app exchange released for the CDP, which means any of our ecosystem partners will be able to create their own app to integrate their data into the CDP. So yes, you will see at Dreamforce, the way forward is around that stack. Yeah.
CDP is the way to go then.
Yeah, it's probably change name at some point, but you will see.
Yeah. Okay.
One follow-up question on that though, because it's quite interesting when we say, hey, CDP is going to be the single point of truth, right, where all the stacks and all the data is coming together. I wonder in terms of how we distribute that data, right? Who is going to be the person, the roles who have access to the CDP? If I'm a sales guy or I'm a service guy or I'm a marketer, I work in Sales Cloud, I work in Service Cloud, I work in Marketing Cloud. On the other hand, the data is all captured in CDP. It needs to somehow feed back to those people who are using, Sales Cloud or Service Cloud primarily, right?
Yeah.
And they need to the right data, and not all the data maybe sometimes.
Yeah. So CDP user. Today it will be IT at some point because of the parts unification. But again, the idea is to have clicks, no code. So you're able to integrate the data with clicks and no codes. And you've got the marketers that are doing the segmentations. Okay, I unify my data, I'm able to create my segments and activate them. So the users today, it's more data people plus marketing. But let's say you are at the customer service. Currently we've got APIs available. So it means I can, from Service Cloud, I can ask the CDP, hey, I've got frederic.papon@salesforce.com. Please give me his unified profile. Okay, and in real time, you're able to display this profile into Service Cloud. So, and that's, I will say, the first step. And there are going to be multiple steps, more technical steps, like to be able to, for example, we just released a GDBC connector. So it means you're able to plug in, if you're a data scientists that want to crunch the data, unified data, they can, connect to the CDP, extract the data, and then make their own model and so on. So the activation and the usability of the data will be much more global in the future, and that's thanks to native features, but as well to again the App Exchange. So to give an example, you will be able to activate data from the CDP. So let's say a segment. Potentially, you can activate it to Facebook or Google in the future. Okay, because this will be like a activation channel possible directly from the CDP. Okay. Yeah. So there are many things on the roadmap. So today it's really I was using a tool for marketing. Still, you can have use cases where you can get some information from the CDP in real time, so unified profile data. For example, from Service Cloud, you can know as well. You can ask the CDP, okay, Frédéric, in which segment? So in real time again, in which segment is Frédéric Papon? And the CDP will say, okay, is for example in the top 100 clients, plus in the and all the segments that are going to be built by the marketers. The customer service will have information in live around about that. Okay. And as well, again, there is a connection with Tableau. So it needs Tableau. All the data from the CDP, most of the data, are natively connected to Tableau. So to do analytics on data or cross those data with other data, that could be done in Tableau.
That's great. Any other questions? I'm also conscious of time, but our agenda is a bit shaken, so we didn't do any break, and we will not do any break, and that's fine. That's very fine. Thanks a lot, Frédéric. Did you want to present some additional elements, or is this it?
No. Yeah, this is it, basically.
But this is very good.
Yeah, we had a slip on the CDP topic, which is a really interesting topic as well. It's more on like a data unification side.
Yeah, but, and I'm not saying, of course, that we didn't cover enough. I'm not saying that. We always have to make some choices in the limited time that we have. But this was really very good, Frédéric. Thanks a lot for the insights, for your the view on Interaction Studio that you are providing.
No problem.
And now I'm just asking Marina. Marina, do you think we could run the? So maybe Gonzalo first. Gonzalo, what do you think we should run a pipeline overview, or do we have some stuff there?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
So Marina, tell me if we can run our quiz, or if we need 5 minutes to prepare it.
No, it's fine. I have 5 questions, so I can present it.
So that's great.
Yes.
So thanks a lot again, Frédéric, for your time. And it's time to have a little bit of entertainment. So I'm giving it over to you, Marina, because I will participate in the quiz this time.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen.
So you're all invited to connect to, and you know this, www.kahoot.it.
So as usual,
Marina, we are seeing the right answer.
the right answer. Yeah.
Tu nous montres les réponses là.
Yeah. So, as usual, you have the pin here and you have to connect on kahoot.it.
I'm going there.
I really don't see the pin.
I think you have to go to kahoot.it and the pin is 4337993.
Really, you can display it. Huh?
You don't see my screen?
No.
Nope.
I'm going to share it.
Yes, we see it now.
Okay, great. Okay. I think we have almost everyone. So we are going to start.
Let's go.
Let's go. So first question. In Perrin's presentation, what was the percentage of people wanting more human experience from virtual environments?
Excellent. Wow.
It's a
Not
difficult
sure.
one. Yes, only three good answers. I think Gonzalo got it right. Was
Wow.
happy. So, next one. What is the hype in personalization? I don't know if you remember, Perrin showed us like a little chart with 3 different stages. And the last one was hype. And no, it was being disruptive. Gonzalo is still the first one. So next question, what percent can personalization lift revenues?
We are not hearing the music anymore.
I don't know why. Yeah, because it's not.
Ouais.
3 good answers. And Gonzalo is still the first one.
Alberto and Fred back in the game.
Yeah.
And Chris, close.
So, what is the name of the presented solution? It's an easy one.
I have it right.
Everybody got it right. No
Boom.
changes. And the last one. What is the name of the company presented in the demo of Frederick? Yes, it was Northern Trail. So now the podium. At the third stage, we have Chris. Second, Alberto. And the winner is Gonzalo. So thank you.
Winner.
Congrats.
Excellent, thank you. So this leads me, this is nearly the end, so you will have some time back. Chris, you are from England, are you?
Scotland.
Scotland. So I'm not sure whether you are a supporter of the Three Lions.
I think you should have answered that yourself. Scottish people don't tend to be supporters of the Three Lions.
Exactly. And but we have some Italian friends also, and so may the best win this weekend. But we have also Spanish guys. Not sure we have Danish. We have French. So that's for sure. But it's already something which is far away, the Euro for us. So. Good. So, guys, thanks a lot for your time, for being here today, and taking your time to be with us. Thank you to you, Frederic and Gonzalo, and especially to Marina, who is the little and very hardworking hand behind a lot of these sessions. We are now heading towards a summer break with some surprises after the summer break. Let me just share you some dates. So we have, of course, and some messaging related to that, Dreamforce, September 21st to September 24th, which will be a mainly digital experience, and with some in-person sessions in London and Paris. The Get Back Together session. So we will have some entertainment together beginning of September. The date is not exactly focused yet, but it will be 1 hour to have time together, some entertainment and some drinks. Virtually, of course. This is still the rule for this year. But so enjoy your summer. Thank you for being there, and see you after the summer. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.